Hey everyone, got this in the mail yesterday, took it apart, and created a target for ExpressLRS. So today I'm going to show you how to flash it, how to clone the Git repository with GitHub Desktop, and then open that up with Visual Studio and flash it with my branch. So you'll start off with, I already took this apart, I apologize. There's 4 screws. The 2 long ones go at the top, 2 short ones at the bottom. You just take it apart. And this one's really nice. You don't even really have to disassemble this from this. And you can just kind of, what I do is I push on the antenna, SMA, and then kind of wiggle this thing out. And you don't really have to struggle too hard. But of course, on the video, I'm going to struggle pretty hard. Okay. So you pull this out, and you want to worry about, and you're probably going to see a metal plate here. I had to take it off to make the target. So you have your data, you have ground, and then you'll have clock at the bottom. So when you plug this into your ST-Link, you kind of want, if you look at it just like that, if you look at these 1, 2, 3, you want those to be 1, 2, 3. Your IO, that's your data, your ground right here, and your clock, which is going to be right here. If you did want to power this with 3.3 volts, you could use this and you can power it. I like to plug it into the radio and turn it on while I flash it, but do not plug this in with the radio and power it with this. That's bad. Make sure you do one or the other. I like to do this because I can test the Lewis script. I can keep updating it while this is being powered with the radio, and I get to debug a little bit. So this is what I recommend. Do not use the 3.3 on here, power it through here, just safer. Once you do all that, I cut a little hole in here. The bootloader should work. I need to test that, but you'll be able to flash it with the TX Lite or OpenTX, wherever you want to use it on. I'm using it on this guy, and it's working pretty good so far. Yeah, just put everything back. Actually, you can flash it and then unsolder those connectors and put it all back together. Me, I'm a bit crazy. I like to have STlink to flash it, even with the bootloader option. This is faster. It makes me look crazy at the airfield, but yeah. Let's get started. So now it's time to remove the protection on the Ghost. Download STM32 STlink Utility. Look in the description for a link. With this program, we're going to select target and go to option bytes. And then we're going to remove the read protection. You should see level 1. If you have never flashed, we need to switch this to level 0 for the readout protection. And then we need, you'll see some of these selected already. Let's unselect all. And now be careful. Once we do this, there is no going back to Ghost. This will corrupt the firmware, and you're stuck with having to flash ELRS. Click apply, and we're good to go. So now we're going to go to File and Clone Repository. We're going to use the URL tab and type in Brandon RC / ExpressLRS. And I got an error because I have an ExpressLRS folder in there. I'm going to rename it to Ghost TX Lite and Clone. You can use ExpressLRS if it didn't give you an error. And now it's going to clone the repository. So now we're going to use for my own purpose, because that's going to have all the Brandon RC stuff. If you wanted to contribute to ExpressLRS, it'll use the ExpressLRS repository, but we're going to use this one. Now we'll switch to branch to Ghost. So you just click on the current branch and type in Ghost, and you'll see a PR Ghost TX Lite. Click that one, and now we're good to go. Let's open up VS Code, close this out, And now go to File and Open Folder, and you'll have this little window. It's going to be in your Documents and GitHub. By default, that's how GitHub Desktop structures their files, and we're going to look for the clone, which is fresh clone, which is the Ghost TX Lite. If you had ExpressLRS, it would be the other folder. Now make sure you use source SRC, because this one has 3D files, OpenTX files. So this one isn't actually the main folder for the firmware. You have to actually go into the SRC folder, which has the platform stuff. That's just how this repository is structured. So if you clone it, you're not really in the firmware folder until you click into the source. Now just select folder. Now it will load up the platformio file now that it finds, and let's click on user defines. Now I'm going to remove that hashtag and add my bind phrase here. And I like to use the bind phrase because it just makes it super simple. Now, make sure you uncomment these. Basically, with compilers, if you have commented code, the compiler doesn't even see it or use it. If it sees those comments, basically it looks like this. It's the same thing. It's like it wasn't there at all. So make sure you uncomment that out if you want that feature. Like hybrid switches 8, I like that. You have 3 positions on your switches. I'm also going to use 500 Hertz. Now let's click the default. That's right there at the bottom. Once you click default, now we can select the target. So we're going to type in Ghost, and then it should pop. There it goes, Ghost TX Lite. And once you have that selected, platformio is going to load everything up, and then we're going to select. We're not going to select build. We're just going to go straight to upload, because if you click upload, it automatically builds it anyway. So we're just going to click that one. Now, if you're doing a little bit of testing and you want to just see if it builds and you don't really want to upload it, that's an option. Okay, now it looks like it flashed a bootloader, and now it's flashing the firmware now. It flashes 2 little sections, a little bootloader and then the main firmware. Now, if everything goes well, you can do a little debugging. If you don't see an STlink serial in a version, that means your wires are probably not connected. It'll give you like an error saying could not find STlink. You can also see if anything else went wrong, just by looking at this output on the terminal. But yeah, that's it. If everything flashed and MCU reset, you can start flying. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys how to flash ExpressLRS with the bootloader on a this is using, let me show you guys, the Ghost TX Lite. Now you have to flash it with the STlink first, but then we can go to System, switch to the folders, go to a firmware. I made a Ghost TX Lite folder and put the firmware.bin file into this folder and rename it to .ELRS, and then hold and flash. Device is resetting. So now whenever you need to make updates to this, you don't actually have to use the STlink. You can just flash it through the controller and should be good to go. And you should see a bunch of LEDs and we're good.